Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Conversations with Christopher. Today we're here with Kurt Shaw. Hi, Kurt. How are you?
Hi.
Great to have you. This is another in our series of conversations with folks that we have as resources here at the Musunegi Financial Group, folks that are available to help our clients depending on what's happening in their world. So to give you a little bit of background on Kurt, it's a very impressive background it is. So Kurt's company does appraisals, and he's been a recognized appraiser of arts, antiques, furniture, other valuable items, and has worked as a professional appraiser since 2002. This has been, a great opportunity for us because we have clients who ask us about this stuff all the time, and until we met Kurt, we didn't really have a great resource for them. So he is a graduate of Carnegie Mellon. He has served as an art critic for the Pittsburgh Tribune Review for over 16 years. And for over 10 years, he's owned and operated Shaw Galleries, which is an art and antiques gallery on Liberty Avenue in downtown Pittsburgh. So if you're downtown, hopefully they can stop by and say hi. So.
Well, I actually, the store is not open. It's not open. So I actually just.
Yeah, it's unfortunate with the times, I guess.
Yeah, the whole pandemic.
So as we do each time we have a conversations with Christopher, we're going to ask Kurt some questions and learn a little bit more about what he does and how he does it. So the first question we have for you is, so what services do you provide? How does that happen?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. I offer appraisal services for insurance, divorce, and estate planning and distribution purposes. Clients may want to know the fair market value of their items if they are downsizing, moving, or simply want to sell them off and are not really sure what to sell them for. I also offer written appraisal reports with retail replacement values for items that clients want insured. Written appraisal reports are also offered for estate inheritance tax and estate planning and distribution services purposes.
So if I'm inheriting a piece of art from a relative and I don't know what it's worth, I can bring that to you and you can give me an idea of what the value is so that we can put that into the estate and figure it out.
Yes, exactly.
And is it just art? Is it, I mean, obviously antiques, things like that, but is it as wild and crazy as like baseball cards and things, or is it really more?
I always tell people it's not the house, but everything in it. So, and I've appraised all kinds of things over the almost 20 years I've been doing this. So yeah, sometimes it's newer furniture in a home if somebody is buying or selling and they want to sell the house with the furniture. I've done situations like that. But it also can be oddball things. One time I appraised a giant praying mantis sculpture a guy made in his second floor bedroom. So yeah, that was for because he did museum displays and he wanted to ship it. So if it's a shipping appraisal, it's something odd that has to be shipped across the country or around the world, I'll do appraisals of those types of things too.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of that, but yeah, I guess if you're moving something from point A to point B and you want to make sure it's protected, you would need that to be appraised also.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure that means that your day-to-day is always different.
Oh yeah, that's what I like about it. Day to day, week to week, it's always something different, and I meet a lot of very interesting people in the same regard. So that's makes it really fun.
Now, if somebody's coming to meet with you, or you're coming to see their valuables, what should they expect to happen, at least in the initial consultation?
Well, if I'm visiting the client for an in-home consultation for fair market value purposes, I will answer the client's questions about the items, and the approximate fair market value of those items will be listed on a form. Then I will give the client a list of possible places where the items could be sold. I'm an appraiser, but I don't buy or sell the items. Conversely, if I'm on the premises to do an insurance appraisal report or an estate appraisal report, I will be there to document the items via photographs, measurements, etc., and gather any other relevant information from you. This information will be used in completing the written report after this on-site discovery period.
I think the fact that you give people a resource on places where they can actually sell these things, it's got to be wonderful for them, because I think most people just assume, I'll stick it on eBay and hope somebody buys it.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, I've been in this business almost 20 years. I know all of the auction houses and estate sellers and resellers in our region. So that combined with seeing what they have and how where it fits in, you know, that's at the end of the consultation, I'm able to basically pinpoint the best folks to get in contact to get the highest value out of their items.
Yeah, and I'm certainly sure that, you know, it's helpful to go to the folks who specialize in X if you're looking to sell X versus taking it to somebody who really, that's not their thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I even have resources that are national in terms of oddball items like historical memorabilia or say quilts, for example. They sell very well in Lancaster County. So there's an auction house in Lancaster County I would guide you to if you had a quality quilt, something like that.
Huh. Again, this is why we like to have these things. It's the stuff I would have never thought of, and it's really interesting to hear that. So again, we hear from clients all the time that they have things, and sometimes they think they're worth lots and lots of money, and sometimes they don't end up being, and sometimes they don't think things are worth money and they end up being worth tons. It's always amazing.
Yep, that sounds like my business week to week. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes there's some amazing surprises. You know, so like for example, like you know, there are several styles of furniture that have been popular for more than 200 years, such as Chippendale, Hepplewhite, and Federal. But that Federal chest of drawers in your bedroom that your grandparents purchased in the 1920s may actually be from the 1820s. And that can mean a difference ranging from what would be in the hundreds to something valued in the thousands.
Oh, huh, interesting. So, and that actually leads pretty well into this next question of, you know, what aspect of the appraisal seems to surprise clients most? Is it always just the value, or is it realizing they have something that they didn't really know what it was?
It's a mix of both. You know, yeah, sometimes they'll be kind of coming with a story related to an item that, say, a parent or grandparent told them, and we'll discover, you know, that it doesn't relate to that story. So sometimes that could be a little disappointing, but at the same time, you know, you'll know exactly what this item is, because once I get my eyes on it, and with, you know, all the years I've been doing this, I pretty much can pinpoint, say, furniture, like I mentioned, exactly to when it was made, well, you know, around that time frame, etc. So, you know, and then there's always an upswing. There's, you know, for example, the big surprise generally tends to be with paintings. It's surprising how much, you know, if they're originals, a lot more than people think they are. That's always usually a fun bonus. I'm always excited when I see paintings in an appraisal situation.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about that is, again, sometimes people don't realize what they have or where it came from or really know the true backstory. And so you like to think that what you've been told is true, but isn't always necessarily. And sometimes that's for the good and sometimes for the bad.
Yeah, I mean, in this past year, I've had stories like, you know, that like a famous writer wrote at this desk that they have, or these andirons came from the White House when Teddy Roosevelt renovated the White House. So, you know, there are those crazy stories, and sometimes they can be corroborated with, you know, provenance or other family documentation. Sometimes they can't, and we can't really use that. You know, if stories, at the end of the day, if it's a story, it's just a story. But if it can be proven, that can really add a lot of value to items. You know, the provenance, as we call it in the field, can really add up in terms of value. You know, is this a legitimate piece of historical artifact, for example? You know, I had a document that was it was a deed signed by William Penn. You know, fortunately, I have great experience with signatures and autographs and authenticating those. I look at everything through, you know, loops and magnifying devices, etc., and been trained in that. So yes, that was indeed by William Penn. So you know, when it comes down to that, those types of things, authentication is also a very important aspect of determining, you know, what is this object, where did it come from? Does the story that your mother or grandmother told you actually corroborate the history of this item?
Yeah, you know, I always find it funny. I watch the various TV shows that they, you know, sell stuff, and yeah, that having that documentation is just huge in terms of being able to get true value out of things and really know is the actual person who signed something or where it came from, that kind of thing.
Sure. One area, for example, is there's a lot of copies of the Declaration of Independence out there, and you know, of course, you don't have nobody has the original, but the, you know, the museum in DC, but some of those copies are valuable if they were printed in the same era as when it was signed. Those are very valuable. So by looking at the ink and the paper and all these various things, it's pretty easy to determine. And from my standpoint, because I've been doing this so long, and I sold paper antiques on paper for many years with my gallery, to determine, is that, you know, is that of the era based on the paper, based on the ink, the way it's printed, you know, based on, is it floating above the paper, or, you know, there's a lot of indications. So yeah, it's interesting.
So you have to, I'm sure, spend a lot of time researching and studying these things to be able to pick out that little thing that defines, yes, this is truly how they signed something versus somebody, you know, just trying to forge it.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, in like mid 20th century, there was a lot of the presidential correspondence were signed by what's called auto pen, and that's very distinctive. I can spot that under a loop, you know, immediately. But to the naked eye, it looks like JFK signed it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's unfortunate when people think it's real and then they find out it was a auto pen or something like that.
True, but wouldn't you rather really know than not know?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that's the big thing with this, actually knowing what you have, knowing its true value, so you can decide, you know, what to do with it, whether it's sell it or keep it and pass it down, or you know, whatever you decide to do. It's good to know exactly what you have.
Thanks for saying that, because that's exactly true. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, especially in an estate situation. If there's it comes to distribution, and various family members, you know, are picking and choosing amongst the items, you know, in terms of inheritance, that's really important. And, you know, everybody needs to know and be on a level playing field when it comes to that.
Well, good. This was all great information. The last question we have is always our sort of fun and quirky little question. So so we'll throw this one out to you. So Halloween's just around the corner. So do you have a favorite costume or something creative that you wore as a kid or as an adult? I don't.
Well, last year I was asked to play a vampire in a Halloween-themed rock video for the local band Brightside. Oh, wow. So I'd have to say that was my favorite costume, because my daughter, who's in college in California, was able to tell all of her friends her dad is in a music video, and she had a lot of fun with that, and so did I. The name of the video is Turn Off the Dark, if anyone wants to search for it on YouTube.
Nice, that's really cool. So I never been in a rock video. That would be awesome. So I think
an opportunity that happened.
Yeah. So I think when I was reading this question earlier, I was trying to think of favorite costume. I remember I rented a costume when I was in high school, and I went as a cow, and nobody knew who I was because I had the head on the whole time, so it was kind of fun.
Cool.
So don't know that I do that right now, but that was fun. So, well, hopefully everybody will enjoy their trick-or-treating on Halloween, and hopefully see lots of kids out with good costumes on. So, so we're going to wrap things up there. As you can see on the screen is Kurt's information, how you can get in touch with him. Again, you can always reach out to us and we can put you in touch with him. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this, he's been a great resource. We're happy that we can count on him to help out our clients and be part of our resources. So if you need his help, please feel free to reach out directly or reach out to us. Again, we'll be happy to put you in touch. And Kurt, thank you. Thanks for spending a little bit of time with us today. We always appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome, Christopher, and I appreciate your time today as well.
All righty. Well, that'll do it for this episode, and we will be back soon with another conversation with Christopher. Remember, you can check these out on our YouTube page. They'll also be on our social media and our website, so you can check out this one and past conversations. Thanks, everyone.